This is like the Everest of coffees. I mean, it doesn't get better than this. You can see the fruit from here. Rub it off! This is coffee fried in butter. Woo! This is like a 20 to 30 foot tall coffee tree.
For over 20 years, I've traveled the world searching for exceptional coffees. But among the greatest treasures I've discovered along the way are the incredible people, their fascinating cultures, and the most awe-inspiring landscapes you could possibly imagine. Now, I have the opportunity to show you a different side of the world through the lens of coffee. Welcome to Ethiopia, the true birthplace of Arabica coffee. This is where Arabica coffee originated, and I'm heading to the ancient forest where it all started. Coffees I hope to discover are descendants from this forest that exude the prized characteristics of a classic Ethiopian coffee. My journey begins here in the capital city, Addis Ababa, the largest city in Ethiopia. Addis Ababa translates to mean new flower. The city is alive and buzzing with people. And among the crowded streets, there's a strong coffee culture here that dates back over 1,000 years.
Ethiopia is the birthplace of coffee. When you're in the coffee business, going to a place like this is like a pilgrimage.
This is the Mercado, reputed to be one of the largest markets in all of Africa, and I've come in search of street coffee.
A market like this is like the pulse of the culture.
Every day, street vendors roast their coffees and then bring them to the market to sell.
All right, thank you. So this is an herb called terandam, and when you eat it, it's very spicy. It's almost cilantro-like. It's almost like green papaya cilantro combination. And then we've got a little sugar, we've got some cream options. I'm going black, of course. That's legit. That's legit. She roasted this coffee at home, and that's part of what she does every day. They have coffee ceremonies here 2-3 times a day, and everyone sits around and enjoys coffee. And it's a big part of how they interact. It's a part of their social way of life. Excellent coffee.
There is a spectrum of coffee culture in Addis Ababa, from street coffee like this to high-end coffee shops like Café Limu. But the coffee I'm searching for can't be found here in the capital. For that, I must head southwest to my next stop, Jimma, the historic home of the Ethiopian coffee trade. I'm entering the fertile Kaffa region of Ethiopia. The conditions here are almost perfect for coffee. Coffee plants still grow naturally here in the wild.
Ethiopia has all these little microclimates, and each one produces a coffee with a completely different flavor and aroma. And these coffees have probably more character than any other coffee in the world. We're heading to southwest Ethiopia into the Kaffa forest, and we're heading to a small village. Although it produces some of the world's best coffee, the coffees there don't have the specific flavor and aroma that we're looking for as we pass these cows, which is normal in Ethiopia. They do, however, offer a key component in the search for the perfect bean. And his name is Graciano Cruz. Next. Graciano Cruz! Hey! Hey!
How are you?
How are you, man? Good to see you.
Same here. Welcome to the Kingdom of Coffee.
Oh, this is so cool. I've landed in Jima, and this used to actually be an Islamic kingdom, and this is where they traded guns, ivory, slaves, and even coffee. Now, it's Coffee Town, and this is where the majority of all the best coffee in Ethiopia moves in and out. There's a guy carrying, looks like coffee right here. You know, most of the coffee I've ever enjoyed has come through the city of Jima.
The locals will tell you that coffees have been traded here since before the 14th century.
Most of the coffees of Ethiopia are traded in this city, so there are plenty of things that I can find, and a lot of them are really good. But what I'm looking for is exceptional, and it has a very specific characteristic of flavor and aroma.
To find this rare coffee, I need the help of an expert, so I'm off to find an old friend, a coffee farmer from Panama, who specializes in designing coffees in various different countries around the globe.
Graciano Cruz! Hey!
How are you?
How are you, man? Good to see you.
Same here. Welcome to the Kingdom of Coffee, buddy.
Awesome, man.
Graciano has been coming to Ethiopia for well over 15 years to produce and buy coffee, so he's the perfect guy to join me on this adventure. It goes without saying that he's also one of the most entertaining guys I've ever traveled with.
Someone was telling me here once that you could actually use ground coffee. They use ground coffee on cuts to heal wounds.
Yeah,
you know?
it's a lot of,
You can
you
use
know,
ground coffee on the wound and heal the wound. with
There's
the
a lot
ground.
of healing things in coffee.
Yeah.
But the most healing
look at that
thing is
baby.
for the soul, man.
Yeah, that's awesome. Look at that jewel. You know, it just always tastes so much better when you're in the place. You know, there's a taste of place that goes with it.
Tastes like the people, man.
It does, it does. And it just,
You know?
there's a memory to it, you know?
My favorite coffees have traditionally been from Harar, a city in the east of Ethiopia that have a distinct fruity sort of blueberry characteristic.
I love the body. I love the blueberry. It's almost when you smell a good Harar, a really good one, it's like blueberry pie. And the problem is that I've almost given up on Harar. It's so hard to find a good one, and most people are telling me it's because they're growing a lot of chat.
Yeah.
And it's drying up the soil, and the chat is a cash crop. They're making a lot more money with the chat. So I can't find this blueberry coffee, and it's in huge demand.
You can find that blueberry and those dark, beautiful, sweet fruits in many of the coffees around.
So I can
Oh,
find it
this-
here.
yeah.
You're saying that you can help me find this coffee that I'm looking for, because it's really
I hope
specific.
that I can find that and maybe a couple more that you will
Awesome,
like. You know?
awesome.
Coffees can be so wily. I mean, oftentimes you fall in love with one and then it changes forever. My hope is that maybe there's a chance to rekindle an old love affair.
So that's the good thing, is we can find the cherries, and I imagine it's taking a trek through the jungles to places that most people don't go,
Yeah,
if
we
we're
will-
looking for this coffee.
Yeah.
And then once we find it, that's not the end. It has to be processed right, and that's where, thank God you're around, because
Well,
without
that's-
you, I'd be stuck.
Imagine sort of a custom tailor to a suit. Graciano is like that to coffee. He's a custom coffee designer, and he assures me that he has the perfect place in mind to find the coffee I'm looking for. We're heading out to the Yayu forest, which is about a 6-hour drive from Jima.
There's rock and roll to Yayu.
The amazing thing about Ethiopia is it's not just about the sights. You can sort of smell it, taste it, and feel it all around you. On the way to the forest, we come across a group of coffee farmers chewing chat. Chat is a plant that's native to Africa, and the custom of chewing it goes back thousands of years.
We were driving down the road stopping for oil for the vehicle, and we saw these guys hanging out under a tree chewing chat, and they invited us to come along. Eat peanuts, chew chat, you do the two together. And you take these small leaves, the real tender small ones, the young ones, you don't need the big leaves. And you just kind of cram them up and you put them in here and you chew them.
The peanuts take away the bitter taste of the leaves, and the idea is that after about a half an hour, you start to get a sort of high from the amphetamine-like stimulant in the plant. Chat is a cash crop, and it can be harvested 3 times a year. Here in Ethiopia, many coffee farmers have switched to growing chat because they can make more money in the short term. Unfortunately, the coffee trade has definitely suffered as a result.
For me, it's just about the ritual. It's just kind of a fun way to sort of have a sense of community with these guys. We don't speak the same language, but there's a bond with the chalk. You know, we're all doing the same thing, picking these leaves. Coming up.
Coffee.
This is like a 20 to 30 foot tall coffee tree. This is like the Everest of coffees. I mean, it doesn't get better than this.
Reaching the outskirts of the ancient forest, for the first time in my life, I get this glimpse of what the earth may have felt like before mankind had entered the scene. There are thousands of acres of protected biosphere land here, totally untouched since the beginning of time.
Welcome to Yayu Coffee Forest Biosphere Preserve.
The ancestors of the coffee I'm looking for grow deep in the forest.
We're strapping in because we're going to a place where jeeps and cars cannot go, and horses can for a little while anyway, until we get to where it's pure machetes.
Let's go, man.
Joining us on our trek is Dr. Tadesse Waldemarian, the director of the Coffee Forest Forum and an expert in 10,000 different genotypes of coffee that grow here.
The fruit part. Yeah, the pulp, the mucilage.
As we walk, we can hear the wild colobus monkeys swinging through the trees looking for wild coffee cherries.
I think it's interesting that most coffee pollinates itself, so most coffee is not cross-pollinated. In other words, if you see a coffee tree growing, it's because some monkey ate the seed, i.e. the bean, carried it around, spit it back out, and that's why it's growing there, you know?
An hour into our trek, we reach the point where we have to leave the trail and head off into the densest part of the forest. Almost 10% of the plants and trees you see here are coffee, and there are almost 200,000 acres of forest here. What we're searching for are the wild Ethiopian coffee trees, and it's the seeds of these trees that the farmers plant on the outer edge of the preserve.
These kind of jungles, you have to watch out for insects and creatures that try and climb up into your pants if you're not careful. And you get all these thorns. So it's one of the things you're thinking about the most is how to avoid getting stuck by thorns and insects.
In this area of the forest, the coffee is actually not harvested, and the wild trees are being preserved to help develop disease-resistant plants for the future.
You see, everything is coffee, man. Coffee.
The forest acts as a kind of laboratory where wild vegetation can be studied. If future diseases arise in coffee plants, scientists will come back here to conduct research.
This is like the Everest of coffees. I mean, it doesn't get better than this. It doesn't. He just pulled this out. This is a species of watermelon. It grows naturally in the forest here, and you also have cardamom, and we noticed it smelling. You can smell it. I mean, it's wild cardamom. It's another native species to this area. There's so many plants. There's so much plant and animal life here.
As we go deeper into the forest, we come across the most humongous coffee tree I have ever seen.
Wow. Man, this is, okay, so this is like a 20 to 30 foot tall coffee tree.
Yep.
This thing's huge. Look, it's just looking for light. It's just peeking up like, I need more light. That's awesome. Man, that's an amazing tree.
These trees actually bear very little fruit. Instead, they're combating weeds and trying to get to the most ideal light. And I have to say, the natural beauty here is astounding. This has been the perfect start to my trip. Earlier today, we saw some beautiful wild plants, and tomorrow it'll be time to find the offspring of these plants and what should be some excellent tasting coffee.
Coming up. Governor! You guys find anything with nice fruit? You can see the tops of these trees. You can see the fruit from here.
The following morning, I'm on my way to meet Graciano and Dr. T in the buffer zone by the wild forest we were exploring yesterday. This is the area where the local farmers are allowed to grow their plants, and Graciano says they are cultivating the descendants of some of the coffees we discovered in the ancient forest. Being in this forest is just so incredibly invigorating, and there's this fresh sort of distinctive sweet fragrance of musk and earth. As I climb higher, the forest canopy opens up and the shade becomes much less dense, and I can hear the local farmers harvesting cherries and singing.
Ranovin, 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 Lavo, Lavera, Ranovin, Uyabilelo, Ranovin, Bornizimelo, Ranovin, Yagavayoko, Ranovin, Yodiborzanoko, Ranovin.
Thousands of miles of travel, and the experience is starting, quite literally, to bear fruit.
Where are you guys?
Hey, guys, over here.
Governor!
Hey, Bobby.
Hey!
Over here.
Hey! Okay. This tree was a little bigger than I thought, but I could see them up here. And you can see the tops of these trees. You can see the fruit from here. They're so lush. And they have this, it looks like we're gonna get some really dark berry fruit. That's what we want.
Hey, Bobby.
All right.
How are you, man?
What's up, man? Whoa. Man, awesome.
Yeah.
Leave it to you guys to find the holy grail of coffee. This is awesome.
That's
These cherries are more purple in color, which means they've been left on the stem a bit longer.
Oh, that is awesome. I'm looking for this. This is it. I can. There's got that sweetness. This is deep, heavy, sweet berry, dark berry.
Yeah.
This is the nice. This has got to be. I'm 90% to the best cherry I've ever seen or
You
touched.
see the size, you know?
And when you roast that, that's going to be about a third larger. It's worth the journey.
Yeah,
this is amazing. I honestly did not expect to find this much fruit and this beautiful of a color. I expected something exceptional, but this totally raised the bar for me.
Yeah, man.
Totally raised the bar for me.
You know, and
Even though these cherries were grown here, they will have the characteristics of a wild coffee because the seeds came from the protected part of the forest we explored yesterday.
2 more days we're copying this coffee, and you will see what we found in the fruits.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You will find in the cup.
Oh,
Okay.
I love that you're doing natural process. It's perfect.
Yes.
I'm so stoked. I am so stoked. I have to hug you. I mean, I do. I just have to hug you, man. I'm stoked.
Now it's time to head to the village and actually try this special coffee.
You guys make a huge
right.
difference, man.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
And it's beginning, man.
All right, so now
Just beginning.
there's one tradition that we have to do. We got to do a feast. We got to feast and celebrate with the producers.
Perfect.
Right,
Let's,
This is my
let's-
favorite part.
Let's invite the farmer and have a meal, traditional Ethiopian meal with them.
This is a cooperative that specializes in growing these ancient forest coffees. Graciano has been helping them hone their techniques to get the most optimal characteristics possible in the final cup. Harvesting coffee cherries is all about selection and timing.
Here are some coffee berries, and we call them coffee cherries. But this is interesting. Look at this. When you crack this thing open, 2 coffee beans come out. And you look, they're green. But this is what you roast. And you can't just take this and roast this and expect it to taste good. If you pick them at the right time and you get the really dark, nice ones, they make a lot more money per pound. And then the green ones get to stay on the limb and grow ripe.
I believe these cherries will make a sweet cup of coffee. She's doing this process traditionally, and the first step is washing the beans by hand. Before the beans can be roasted, they must then be dried, and my beans will be dried on beds just like these.
I'm in one of the most beautiful places on earth, and with the very best coffee that you could possibly imagine. These raised beds are amazing. You can see that because they're raised, the air comes up underneath, and you've got even drying. And it makes a huge difference in the coffee.
Everything here is done using age-old methodology, and the strict attention to detail will be reflected in the taste of the finished product. Now that the beans have been dried, the next step is to remove the husks, and this takes real time and effort. The beans are put into this wooden bowl and then pounded with this big long pole. And now, it's my turn.
All right, I'm not going to do nearly as good a job as you are.
And keep going.
You can tell she's been doing this a lot because this thing is shiny. Harder? Like this? With the face, like I'm working hard. She makes it look so easy. There, is this good? Yeah. She's laughing at me. I don't think they would hire me for this job. So you mash it slow? Show me. We're getting the outer shell off. It's kind of like a thicker version of the outer shell of a peanut. And you have to get that off to get the green beans so that you can roast it.
We're preparing the beans for a coffee ceremony and feast. And I must say there is nothing like the aroma of fresh roasted coffee to liven up the senses. She's continually stirring these beans to reduce scorching. The heat is expanding the green beans and you can see them slowly turn into a beautiful, rich, dark brown. This is how Ethiopians roast their coffee for ceremonies, and I cannot wait to taste this. Meanwhile, the villagers are preparing lamb for a communal feast.
So this is all food that's eaten with your hands. So the tradition is someone pours and you rinse your hands. They don't use forks or chopsticks. Thank you.
It's a tradition here that everyone eats together from communal plates like this. This bread is called inhera, and it's made with an ancient grain called teff.
And what you do is you use this bread kind of like a glove to grab the food. And this is lamb. This is as good as food gets. Off the charts.
Tastes good, man.
As we finish eating, the moment to taste the coffee finally arrives. In Ethiopia, the coffee ceremony is part of the culture, and making and drinking coffee is a ritual passed down through generations.
She's got some herbs prepared to taste with the coffee. She's gonna let the coffee sit in the hot water for a while, and then she pours it through with a horsehair filter into the cups. It's really interesting to watch how they pour it. There's a whole technique behind everything they do, and this is classic age-old traditions right here.
You know, it never ceases to amaze me the amount of effort that goes into producing this one cup of coffee. All the promise of those beautiful wild coffees have been nurtured by the locals and prepared according to age-old tradition. And at last, the moment of truth. My smile says it all. I have found the holy grail of coffee in the country of its birth.